Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the esteemed faculty members and research scholars who have joined us virtually for the second day of our faculty development program. I trust that yesterday's deliberations were both enriching and inspiring, paving the way for yet another engaging session this evening. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished academic and researcher, Dr. Femina Shiba, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Madras Christian College, who will, be enlightening us on the topic linking the literature review and research gaps. Dr. Femina Shiba obtained her Master of Computer Applications from the College of Engineering, Anna University, Guindy in 1990. She began her academic journey at CTTE College for Women, Chennai, and since 1995, she has begun an integral part of Madras Christian College, serving with exceptional dedication and scholarly commitment. With over 3 decades of teaching and research experience, Dr. Shiba has made significant contributions to the field of computer science. Her professional trajectory reflects a deep engagement with image segmentation, classification, and watermarking in medical imaging. And she has been actively collaborating with the Christian Medical College and CMC Vellore on several interdisciplinary research initiatives. Throughout her scholarly pursuit, she has guided numerous student projects in emerging areas of computer science, nurturing intellectual curiosity and innovation among her students. As a core member of the MCC Research Colloquium team, she plays a pivotal role in organizing and facilitating sessions on diverse research and technological themes. We are indeed honored to have her with us this evening. On behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I extend a cordial and heartfelt welcome to you, dear ma'am. We eagerly look forward to an enlightening and thought-provoking session under your guidance. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words and the lovely introduction, ma'am. Without further delay, I think we can start off with our presentation. I hope all of you can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today we're going to see linking the literature review and research gaps. And this is an online FDP, Penning with Purpose, Mastering the Art of Research and Publications. And we are going to see today two important things. One is the literature review and the other is the research gap, and how they are interconnected, how they close as a loop. So that is what we're going to see. And as we see the presentation, we will understand how this loop closes in the end. So let's first start about literature review. We all know what a literature review is. It is a survey of scholarly resources on a specific topic. It provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing one to identify relevant theories, methods, and gaps in the existing research. Why do we do literature review in a particular research? Most of you might be carrying out the research, some of you may be guiding the research scholars, or some of you may be in the initial part of your research trying to figure out what you can actually do and so on. I have made this presentation such a way this will actually talk to each and every one of you in whichever stage you are. So mainly we need to see why we have to do the literature review. Today's scenario in many of the institutions, in many of the departments, and many of the research domain, what they would ask us to do is, okay, have 200 literature in the topic that you are doing research. So the research scholar or the faculty member goes and picks up a series of research uh, topics, and research papers. and then line it up so that you get 200 research. That is not actually the literature review, and that does not actually serve the purpose too. So, the literature review should tell you how you are familiar with the topic and how you have mastered, how you have become a scholar in that particular context. And for most of our work, there will be a theoretical framework. Somewhere from some theory or from some definitions or from some equations, the whole thing would have evolved. So, there you need to actually look into that theoretical framework and the methodology of your research. And mainly, when you do the review, ultimately the literature review should address the gap. So, that is the most important thing. It should address the research gap. So, you need to evaluate the current state, how your research is currently, and demonstrate your knowledge of the scholarly debates around your topic. The key steps of literature review, which I always talk in all my talks on literature review. Some of you might have heard that too. And I don't want to miss this slide because this gives the step in which we do the literature review and write the literature. So we have to search for the relevant literature. We will look into the searching part, and then you need to evaluate them to see whether they are from the right source, whether they are not the predatory journals or clone journals, but actually they are the uh, legitimate journals. So you need to, after searching, we need to evaluate that particular article, and then we have to identify the themes, debates, and gaps. So the literature review, that particular paper, whatever you do, search and evaluate, that should contribute somehow to addressing the research gap or taking you towards the research gap. And you need to give the outline, or you need to give a structure for your literature review. And finally, all this will help you to write the literature review. Taking the first step, that is the search, all of you, some of you might have are in the initial stage of starting your research. Can anybody tell me if you are in the initial stage of research? I don't know, ma'am, what topic. I'm looking into various topic, but I'm not able to finalize one topic. Is there anybody like that? We can be quite interactive. நீங்க சொல்லலாம். யாராவது அப்படி இருந்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் டிப்ஸ் கொடுப்பேன் அதுக்காக தான். Is there anybody like that? Or all of you are in midway of research or have completed research? Anybody, one of you can open up and say, yes, ma'am, I'm in the first stage, identifying my topic. Yes. Yeah, please unmute and talk, okay?
Ma'am, good evening.
Yes.
Mixed groups are here. So you
Okay.
can explain it how to select among the different topics because many of them are beginners are there, and also some of them are well advanced in research. So you can explain it, I think.
Yeah, I am going to explain anyway. So just wanted to know if
Yes,
who's
ma'am.
having
Hello,
that
ma'am.
difficulty. Who is
Hi,
yes.
ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Tell me, ma'am.
My name is Varnika. I have just started my research.
Okay, which field, ma'am?
So, English literature, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I would like to know, I think I'm interested in all the topics because uh, when I get into 3 to 4 topics, I'm not
Hmm.
able to choose a
Correct.
specific one
Yeah,
because all lot of topics are interesting.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
I
that
couldn't
is why I wanted to,
narrow down the thing.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
why I wanted to hear from you, because all of us have faced this situation in the beginning of our research, not knowing which topic to start with,
Mm.
or
Yes, ma'am.
even when we read a particular topic, various literature in that, then suddenly from that we will move to another topic, and then we will think, ah, this is better than that. That kind of moving into various topics and not able to actually narrow down the research. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
yeah, that is a problem with most of us. And today I will tell you how we can narrow down your search. So even I did the same thing. And let me tell my experience. I studied in College of Engineering, Anna University, and one of my colleague who was presenting he was doing his thesis defense viva OC on that particular day. I had attended his viva OC PhD viva, and so one of my teacher was there, and he asked me, "What, Femina? What are you going to do next?" Then I said, "Sir, I vaguely have an idea of medical imaging, because medical imaging." I had undergone a particular surgery and things like that, and I was fascinated by the imaging part of the medical science, which has actually brought in a lot of innovations in that area. So I really wanted to do. That's the only thing I had in mind. So he told me, "Why don't you talk to one of the professors here who is teaching digital image processing and so on." This image processing was not into that boom at that particular time. So I met that particular professor and I spoke to him, and he helped me to find out what my interest is and all that. And then I slowly told him. Then he told me, Femina, this the topic watermarking and steganography is emerging in the medical field. Why don't you just go and see what is happening? For me, I know only watermarking that is done in Word files where we have visible watermarking. I have not heard about watermarking in image processing at all. But I came, and then those days we hardly have the Google access, but a little bit of the internet access and so on. I went through what watermarking is all about. Then I downloaded few papers, and I used to carry those papers wherever I go. Whenever I travel by train or by any other vehicle, I used to carry those papers and used to keep reading. And one of the professors told me, first read it like a newspaper, then go deeply into it. So I recollected that, and I used to read half the things I won't understand, but I used to read a little by little by little. My eyes open to what watermarking is all about. And then when I understood that, I could understand the methodology. I could understand one paper, but I couldn't understand the other paper. But I used to read the paper again and again for nearly 25 times to understand what exactly that is. Then I slowly got that picture of what watermarking is and what research has been carried out, how it all has started, and how it has come to one particular level now. And then I was a little confident in working with a small prototype application in MATLAB those days. With MATLAB, I did watermarking in image, and I was very successful, very happy. And then I got to know one person from CMC Vellore, and with her, with her, I went to CMC. I met the pathologist there, and he was in need of some work. He was also doing that work, research work, along with that girl, and so they were working on segmentation of images. And so I had the opportunity to sit and talk to him and tell him what I was doing. And then after he spoke and heard my interest, then he was ready to give some of his sample images to try the watermarking concepts in those images. And that was my beginning. That was how I first started. So we both that girl who was a research scholar at that time in CMC, she and myself, we wrote the first paper. She contributed on segmentation, I contributed on watermarking, and we both jointly published it. And from there my research journey started. So initially it will be like that. We don't know what it is, how to start, but the search and search, that is the answer. So you can use any of these databases. Usually what we use is a Google Scholar, but you can use JSTOR, Project Muse, Aureka, Inspec, IPSCO, and so on. Tomorrow, Dr. Shaini may be sharing a few AI tools that will help in literature review too. You can use any of those AI tools like Research Rabbit or Semantic Scholar or a paper guide or any of those AI tools where you can enter your keywords, and that will give you all the papers in the same screen. Instead of searching one after the other in the Google Scholar, you are getting everything in the same screen. So that is very useful for you to get the screen, the paper, and the abstract and the insights about the paper. So it helps you to quickly go through the papers. It is only for going through the papers. Never do a mistake of copying the extract and pasting it in your manuscript. Instead, it helps you really to understand that particular topic. And uh, we may have to give a structure for our literature review. Many of us will follow the chronological structure, that is listing in a particular order of how the research has been carried out from 1995 to 2025, something like that. That may be a chronological order, or it may be a methodological order. That is, you may be using sources from different disciplines or fields, and maybe using variety of research methods. So you may have to compare all these methodologies and come to a conclusion. So that may be a kind of a review of all the methodologies. That may be a particular structure, or it may be a thematic structure. There may be you may be using a particular theme, like there is the example is there on the screen. That is inequalities in migrant health outcomes. Okay, so then the so many themes will be revolving around that, healthcare policy or language barriers, cultural. So that is thematic structure. Mostly the English people, they may use this thematic structure, or a theoretical structure where you will be finding a gap in the theory itself and contributing into the theoretical framework. Now you can use templates like this. This template will help you to actually um, help you to do the note making. Whenever you do the literature review, don't forget to do the note making. You can use systematic note making like a Mendeley software, where you can have the you can have all the papers in a particular order, and you can write the abstracts of the paper and so on. Or you can write it in a notebook, or you can use your own notepad or word to scribble the notes of whatever you see. So here you can use various templates. I am introducing you to one of this templates. Like you write the source information. Is this Scopus indexed one, or a Web of Science one, or it's in what journal it is? It's Elsevier or whatever. What is the objective of the research? What is the problem or the gap that the research is addressing? And the findings and conclusions. Many of us leave the limitations there. So what many authors would have said in their paper, that this is the limitation, or this is my scope of work. It will not go beyond this. So that's the limitation. And they will also give suggestions for future research. So please make a note of that. Then only you can make your research fill that particular gap. And another approach is, I think I've already introduced this, funnel approach. Funnel approach is for the beginners, as you told. As ma'am said rightly in the beginning, we find it very difficult to narrow down the topic. You use the funnel approach to narrow down the topic. That is, first you think of the wide topic of all possible topics, then you narrow down and keep narrowing down again and again. I will give you an example here how we narrow down and search, and then finally that should end up in the research question. Now here you see, let me start here with the learning. So what I did is I went to Google Scholar and saw the various learning, and today you know that learning management system is very common. So I started reading papers on LMS, And then I took in LMS the personalized learning. Okay, so today everything is inclusive, and everybody should be able to use a learning management system. So it should cater to a an individual person. That's why it's a personalized learning system. So I started reading on personalized learning, and in that personalized learning there are various things. It's an ocean of subject, personalized learning. But I started taking papers from the student perspective. So what's the how the students progression would be in a personalized learning. That's what I took. And then I took the AI generated insights. So personalized learning today is mainly based on generative AI. So it can generate open AI can generate insights for the students. So then came this particular topic that we are doing a particular project where when we give some numerical values, that will give user specific narratives. That is for example, if I give marks, 5 marks for the students, for students it will say this is the grade and how they which subject they are not doing good, and how they, and then this with the same numbers another story can be developed for the parents to take care of their ward in this areas, and for teachers where they are not doing well in terms of the marks with the students. So each story ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டோரியும் ஒவ்வொரு மாதிரி ஜென்ரேட் பண்ண முடியும். Input is the same. That is called user specific narratives. Today AI can do that. So I finally came to the topic AI generated personalized stories for students in personalized learning. So this is the narrow down topic I have taken. If anybody is interested, you can if you are doing any research in education, you can take this topic and then collect a lot of literature in that. So that will help you. This funnel approach will help you to narrow down the topic. Another thing that will help you to do the searching or narrow down your topic is the mind map. So mind map is whatever you think, you keep drawing it into. So there will be, you will start from a particular point. See in the first diagram, you are starting from the particular point, and then it is going branching into various. So you might have learned something here and put that. You might have learned some other topic, put that, everything, then try to connect them to make a whole research out of that. So that's a mind map. See, let me give you an example of the mind map in the research that I did. So I started with digital image processing, as I told you, and then I narrowed down into medical image processing. Okay. And once I met the pathologist in CMC Vellore, since he's a pathologist, so he gave me blood smear images for processing. So then I put, okay, now I'm going into blood smear image processing. Then I did some segmentation. See, from digital image processing, segmentation is one part, but watermarking is another part. So I put in the mind map from digital image processing, I put watermarking. In that watermarking, I have done some spatial frequency, image authentication, and so on. In the same way, in segmentation, after segmentation, I did some classification of the cells and all that. So I put all that in terms of a mind map, so that my research path, I'm able to easily go ahead. So, as I told you, literature review should not stop with this collection of papers. It should take you to a research gap. So, as you read your literature one after the other, slowly, what is not accomplished, what is not solved, should become open to you. So, that will lead you finally to the research gap. So, that is how you do the research gap. The research gaps may be many things. That is, if it is a knowledge gap, there is nothing that is being studied in that area. You are the one doing first time research. So then you fill that knowledge. Okay, that is a knowledge gap. And the practical knowledge gap is suppose there is plenty of theory but no real world application, then you can contribute into the real world application. Methodology gap is there are so many studies you have learned, you read in the literature, and whenever in computer science especially, whenever we do a study, we will try to code it and see whether it works. Okay, and so past studies will be using so many similar methods, but something new you are thinking, a new approach. So they are all similar. So why don't you take a new approach? Empirical gap is there are not enough actual studies or data to support. Suppose say there are very less studies to support an idea. So you want to fill in that particular gap. Theoretical gap, there are so many theory, but there is no strong theory to explain something. So you write a theoretical paper here, and so you support the theoretical gap. Next is population gap. Something has you have they have worked with one set of group, but now you want to carry that into a bigger population or a completely a different set of people. Then it becomes a population gap. Evidence gap, there may be a mixed or conflicting findings. So you are looking into all the literature, there is something like conflicting. The one paper is conflicting from other, so you think that you need to give more solid proof. Then that becomes an evidence gap. Okay. So now we are coming to this closing the loop. Let's take the first one. That is what I told you now. We are starting with literature review. We want to end it in research gap. Okay. So that is the first thing. So some uh, some broad topic, funnel approach, some broad topic. As I told you, I want to do something in learning, so I'm reading out in learning, then slowly, step by step, and narrowing to the research gap. Let me give an example. What I did was, I want to do one study in the impact of social media on people. Okay, so I just said impact of social media. That is a very broad topic. Okay, impact of social media. You cannot do research with just that, because people have done on various dimensions of impact of social media. So I just gave impact of social media on the Google Scholar. You can see that. And then I read all the papers. But what paper struck me was that the third one, impact of social media on the health of children and young people. So I thought of taking that first. Okay, impact of social media on the health of children and young people. Mainly the young people, because we are working among the young people in higher education. So impact children and young people is the keyword. Then when I read these papers, I came across one term called Facebook depression. That caught my eyes. என்னடா இது Facebook depression? So I started reading about Facebook depression. That is people who it can be actually, this depression can be for any social media, but mainly people who see Facebook, they will be scrolling right in the Facebook, and then they will they'll go on doing that, and finally that itself will lead them to some depression. Okay, so that is called Facebook depression. So I started reading more papers on Facebook depression. So I took the keywords as Facebook depression and students of higher education. So how this Facebook depression actually affect students of higher education. So I started reading all this, and this paper, Facebook addiction associated with internet activity, depression, and behavioral factors among university students of Bangladesh. So this was a particular study that helped me to further take my review. Okay, so now I understood, okay, this is all Facebook depression. From all these papers, I understood what Facebook depression is. Now my next point is, I'm thinking, okay, how to overcome Facebook. So now once again I narrow down the topic as overcoming Facebook depression of students of higher education. Okay, so then I came across this paper called Just Talk to Me. Okay, communicating with college students about depression disclosures on Facebook. And the main focus of this paper is in person communication. People who are with the mobile phones or with the laptops and looking into any of this social media become alienated. They become isolated. They don't talk. நிறைய பேரோடு சேராம அப்படி தனியா இருந்து போயிடுவாங்க. அப்பதான் அந்த டிப்ரெஷன் will form. So as even such people, if we allow them to have an in-person communication, அப்படி அவங்கள கொண்டு போகும்போது then they can overcome depression. That's what the study was. And so finally, with all these papers and studies, I thought of all these. Why don't we strengthen this by all this? That is, there will be resident advisors or counselors. Strengthen the counseling in the college, strengthen the mentor mentee system in the college, give a lot of teamwork to the students so that they are not isolated. And student counseling are the counselors who will counsel the student, but resident advisors are people who will stay in the college itself, so that anytime, even in the night, students can meet them in their house and then they can talk. Then the college can have an intranet, so that students will post certain things, certain innovative ideas, that so the students will be able to those students who are scrolling and sitting with the social media, for them some useful things they can see through the college intranet. So these are the various ideas I thought we can do. So then I wrote the title as Strengthening In-Person Communication with Support Services. These are the support services to overcome Facebook depression among students in higher education. So if anybody is interested, you can take this as your research problem and write a paper on this. You can work on your college itself, and people who are doing social science, you can circulate the questionnaire among the students, find out, and then you can advise. Or if you have this system, you can, if you have this system, definitely the depression can be overcome. So that kind of study you can take it. So, but how did I get into this problem statement? Because I went through the literature. Initially, I didn't have any idea. I just went through the first part of it. What is that first part of it? This is the first thing: social media and its impact. That's all. And from that, I found the word Facebook depression, and then slowly moved in and mm, came to this level. Ma'am, whoever asked me that, said told about you, that you are in that particular state, is this approach will help you to narrow down your research work?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, I think it's not only for you, for almost everybody. It's including me, because this I am a computer science person. Suppose I want to do something with the students or community or something like that, and then that topic becomes very new to me. Then I have to search with a broad topic only, and then come to this state. So this is our research problem, where I started with the literature review and I am going towards the research gap. Now, sometimes what happens is I will start with the research. I will come across a problem. Okay, it may be a research problem too. Come across a problem. Now, from the problem, I will go to the literature review. That is what happened when we did our neighborhood study. Okay, so closer to Madras Christian College, there is a marginalized community, the Narikuravar community. They stay there, and we have an extension unit close to their community called FLI. So one day, as part of my software engineering course, I told the students, you can take a neighborhood study and find the pain points or the requirements of some group or some people, and then see what are the requirements that you can collect as part of the software engineering paper. So we identified this group, And I took the students one day, and then we went around to their houses, met those ladies. They are all good at making those beaded jewelry. I think all of you know they make all these beaded jewelry. And but their problem is they none of them recognize their work. And even if they put some shops outside, then people say that these people are snatchers, they are robbers அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த கடையெல்லாம் அவங்கள போட விடுறது இல்ல. அதனால இவங்களுக்கு வந்து இன்கம் ரொம்ப பாதிக்கப்பட்டு they were talking about those painful things. So then it all started from that. As I was talking to them, I was thinking, இவங்களோட வாழ்வாதாரம் முன்னுக்கு வராம இருக்கிறதுக்கு காரணம் என்ன? They are making some products, they are trying to sell, but their livelihood is not increasing. Why don't we look into that and come out with some solutions? So I what I did was I problem occurred to my mind while we were doing the field work. பட் தட் அந்த உடனே வந்து நான் ஒரு பேப்பர் எழுதிட முடியாது. தட் யா வெரி குட், நவ் ஐ ஹவ் காட் த ப்ராப்ளம், லெட் மீ ரைட் அ பேப்பர் ஆன் தட், இன்க்ரீசிங் தேர் ஆர் என்ஹான்சிங் தேர் லைவ்லிஹுட் பை இதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வி கேனாட் ரைட் அ பேப்பர். ஸோ வாட் ஐ கேம் அண்ட் டிட் இஸ் ஐ டிட் a thorough study of this community and their livelihood. Okay, so there only from research gap you have to go to the literature review. So a problem is come, a research gap has come there. It looks like a research gap for me or a problem for me, but I am not sure whether somebody has solved it already. அந்த ஏரியால ரிசர்ச் நடந்திருக்கான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. So I have to go back to the literature. So what I did was, okay, so I came back and went through the literature. I took enhancing the livelihood of the gypsies அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய kind of gypsies and how their livelihood is, how their culture is, how can we enhance, அப்படிப்பட்ட papers எல்லாம் I started reading. Okay, and and there is one paper there, an empirical study on schemes of government of Tamil Nadu, because they are in Tamil Nadu. So I thought I will take what are the schemes that Tamil Nadu government has. So they have various schemes here, assistance programs. They call financial assistance. They give loan on low interest, the Tamil Nadu government says. And if you see there, I have highlighted all that, the schemes of the Tamil Nadu government. It talks about various things, but one thing on the last one, let me read that. Because apart from usually livelihood, now we think about education. That's what the Tamil Nadu government is doing, trying to giving them free education, empowering them with a lot of skill programs and so on. But the last thing there is, government can popularize the products of Narikuravar by launching markets both offline and online. So I was thinking that they are very good at making these, but it is not visible. Nobody knows about it. Why don't we create online markets for them? Because then correctly this paper is also suggesting that. So I went through that, and finally we spent many days sitting with them, and then we gave a project to our students in to develop an e-commerce platform. The students are doing as a they are doing a project now. They're developing an e-commerce platform for selling of these jewelry in those online shop in the e-commerce platform. And along with this, we also came across the released bonded laborers. So we are doing e-commerce platform for both the groups. And so finally, I read everywhere whether this livelihood enhancement has been focused on this area. It was not there. So then I found that there is a research gap there. So I made the research problem as enhancing the livelihood of the Narikuravas, creating digital visibility to their handmade jewelry. So this is the problem. So here it is different from that, right? There, what I thought of a broad topic. impact of social media. From that, I narrowed down into that part and finally came to the research problem. Here, a research problem occurred to my mind, and then I'm going and searching in the literature whether somebody has done that, whether somebody has what all they have done, what all plans they have done for livelihood enhancement, and then I was able to come out with this particular research problem. So from the problem, I go back to the literature, learn the literature, and see where the research gap is. Now there are umpteen number of problems around us. All teachers, we are going every day meeting the students in the classroom. In the classroom, we will have a lot of problems. As we do labs, experiments, in field work, in our research areas, everywhere, we will come across various problems. So I will share with you one such problem in the classroom. There is I was teaching the last year the software engineering course. So I took the study of traditional class and flipped class. You all of you know flipped class. Flipped class is you give the material to the students, they will learn and come. In the class, there is only interaction, activity, and so on. So number of students, 26 students attended, and we compared both the classes. Okay, so the traditional class consists of the chalk and board, the PPT slides, and I gave a test in the end. Flipped class material was given beforehand. We had an activity, which is a teamwork activity, and a test was given in the end. And then took a survey. Okay, so how the understanding of the key concepts covered in the classroom was. Okay, the first one is traditional, the other one is flipped. And student engagement, how the student were engaged in the class. And coming like this, I took some six things. But I thought that when I took the scores, okay, I thought scores of the activity at the end of the class will be high for flipped class, whereas for the traditional class it will be very low. But it is not like that. Traditional class is green, this one is in red, and little bit more, that's all, but not very high. So that was very surprising to me. So I asked the students, okay, how many of you were comfortable? And this was the answer they gave. Okay, how many of you found that it was interesting? How and all that I kept on asking. But they were not very excited about the flip class. I thought flip classல activity based இருக்குமே அப்போ ரொம்ப எக்ஸைட்டடா இருப்பாங்க அப்படின்ட்டு. So then I finally asked them, how many of you prepared? I gave you the material before. How many of you went through the material and came? Two went through and unprepared 20. So I knew that was the flop. Okay, so that is why the class was not as I expected. Then I told them that this is a study, so you can openly say what is your suggestion. And their suggestion was the material should be very less, because today's kids, they don't like reading much. Okay, material should be minimal, material should be simple, and they need some motivation. Okay, and they also need teamwork or collaborative work. So this is the feedback that they gave. So with that, I went and read the literature. Okay, so actually why I went for pre-class material, I went through this. Actually, I went and read the literature. I started reading the literature as um, comparison of traditional and flipped classroom. I got some papers. Then I thought, okay, all these papers, everybody will compare and write. Who would have done for software engineering? That was my perception. And then I put a comparison of traditional and flipped class in software engineering course. I saw some three or four people have done that research. I was so shocked. In software engineering itself, they have done this. Okay, then I thought of writing a paper like that. It failed. Okay, I cannot write a paper because already research is being done. That is why I said, whenever a problem comes into your mind, even in the classroom, come back and look into the literature whether people have already solved that problem. So already people have written papers on that. And so then I sat and thought, Why don't I take student perspective? Then I interviewed all these students. They gave this feedback. So with that, I did this searching. Okay, mainly searched on the pre-class material, and I came across this paper saying that pre-class material should be short and engaging, and there should be some personal videos, and it should be more attractive. This paper said that. And this paper said that there should be cultural learning styles and cognitive development goals in diverse education environments. That is what this paper said. Then this paper said there should be a scaffolding. Scaffolding means there should be a step by step process. Okay, there should be a step by step. There should be questioning. There should be an interflow. There should be reflection and comparison. That's what they call that as SQTRC based mobile flipped learning. That is what this paper touched upon. And then this paper touched upon embedded quizzes. They have a lot of quizzes in the pre-class material itself. And then this paper touched very interesting was the gamified flipped class. That is, they give the material and then they say that you have to do this, and then if you finish this, you will get this much scores, this much badges, this many points, and accordingly you will be rewarded. Like that, this paper encouraged that such kind of material. Then this particular material I put it in a template form, because just for you to understand how we can put it in the template. Okay, so this is a paper, and this introduced a template based pre-class material. Why this particular paper really caught my attention is because they say that you prepare so much of material, so much of activities, pre-class, flip class activities, and so on, and then this may be done by you, and suddenly you leave the institution, and then all the material and everything goes with you. Then how will another person continue that? So that was the, so they have come across this idea of a template based pre-class material. So if you have a template, and if you prepare like that according to that particular template, then everybody can do that, and that can be a repository in the college itself. Okay, so that was my idea. So then finally, I thought that we will go for a scaffolding. Okay, scaffolding of giving a material. The material should not have only text, it should have some text, it should have some attractive videos, and then there should be some quiz in the end of the material, and gamification should be involved. That is, if you finish so much, you will get this badge, and you will get this reward points, and so on, like that. And also it should, that particular framework should be a collaborative. So I have titled my research a template based pre-class material with various supporting elements that uses scaffolding and gives room for collaborative study. So anybody is interested, you can take this research problem and try to work on that. So what I would like to conclude here is closing the gap. That is what is my main point that I am talking about today. That is, we have so many ways of doing. So literature review should not be like a stamp collection. Okay, it should not be like a stamp collection. You collect all the stamps and stick one after the other. Some people do literature review like that. Collect 100 papers and put one after the other. They don't have any idea why this paper is sitting here and how it is contributing to their research. Some 50 papers in this topic, 50 papers in this topic, another 20 papers in this topic. My research guide said that, so I am collecting these papers. It should not be like that. Also, I say that literature review should not be papers like focusing only on old papers, but it should be also in the current trend. Till today, what research has been done should be there in the review. And but at the same time, you should not leave out the old papers. They are golden, because some papers will really give a turning point at that time. For me, in my research, if I say, that I started with, as I told you, with the segmentation and watermarking. Segmentation, classification, and watermarking were my three pillars of study in my research. And then I use blood smear images. In blood smear images is the image of the blood. Okay, so in our blood we have all these cells: white cells, red cells, platelets, and so on. So each of them are in different shapes, and then they are stained in different colors and so on. So now I am, when I see that thing, people have made, when I read at that time, people have done a lot of research in medical images, but mostly it is all on CT images, MRI images, and so on, where there will be one image of an organ. But for my images, it's not like that. There are too many cells, and these cells are all not individual cells. They are all overlapping. ஒண்ணோடு ஒண்ணு அப்படி அப்படி இப்படி இருக்கு. அப்போ then I tried various algorithms. So when I tried various algorithms first, all the algorithms that I tried could only segment or find only those cells without overlap. If they are overlap, and the overlapping region எல்லாம் அது வந்து split பண்ணியே கொடுக்கல. Okay, so there ended those algorithms. So one set of algorithms which did not use overlapping cells. Then I had to deviate my, change my direction and look for papers which exclusively touched upon overlapping objects. So then I started reading that. See, now the direction is changing. So literature review should not be a collection of stamps. That it should have a particular flow. So here there is a problem. Then I am trying to get more papers in that area of overlapping objects. Then I started reading all those, and then tried to apply many algorithms in my image, and many would fail because of, not because of their algorithm, it is because of my images. So then I had to keep working on that to see what best algorithm that I could develop to make it work for all those kind of cells. So my research, literature review would be like that. So finally, I would have come to a particular point where my research gap is, and there lies my research problem. So today, this is very, very important. That is what I want to stress upon. It is not, I'm not giving you a talk on literature review, but I'm giving you a talk of how literature review can, should lead to a research gap and find the research problem. Or if you find a research problem somewhere in a day-to-day matter, how you have to go back to the literature review and see whether people have already solved those problems or already have worked on those areas, and then come back to the research. That is why this loop should be a closed loop. Either go from literature review to research gap, or from research gap to literature review, and then to the research gap again. So, with that, I would like to stop here and say that it is a good opportunity for me to have a talk with you. And the next, I think, 6 minutes we have for interaction, so that I don't know, like, in which stage of research you are. So, if you could interact, that will help us to actually. mm Ask if you can come out with some questions, and you can unmute and talk. Please stop the presentation.
Dear participants, you can unmute your audio and raise your questions.
You can express your difficulty, because all of us have gone through this difficulty in literature review. Literature review is a part in our research, so you can ask.
Ma'am, good evening.
Yes.
You have mentioned many orders among the literature review, that is chronological, thematic, and
Yeah.
methodological. Which order is widely used by the researchers?
Usually in science subjects, mostly we will use the chronological order. That uh, is from where the research has actually started, then what has happened, then what has happened in that particular order, you know. Uh,
Mhm.
so, but I believe that it is not so like that in all the research field, in especially in the literature or this, they have a theme which is a central thing, and everything will revolve around that theme. Okay, so even
Mm.
in that example that I gave on that livelihood enhancement of that marginalized community people, so the livelihood enhancement is the main theme over there, and their education, their thing, everything will revolve around that particular theme. So I won't say that this will come next, this will come next. So they are revolving around that particular theme. So education is one livelihood enhancement. Their the so free education, other finance schemes or loans, all these are like this. There will be various schemes by the government, so you can put all that like a flower in one petal around that particular theme, and then you can fix your theme into that particular your work into that particular theme. So this is a thematic order. Or in a review paper it may be completely different. You may be reviewing various technologies or various works, various research works, then that order may change. So it depends on what kind of paper you are writing.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have 2 more minutes. If two people could ask a question, it will be good for everybody.
Good
Yes,
evening, ma'am.
yes, tell me, ma.
Ma'am, actually, I'm doing my PhD and I am about to submit my thesis, ma'am.
Okay,
My field is about corrosion, ma'am, metal corrosion, how to inhibit metal corrosion
okay.
using biosurfactant. So when I was coming across my SEM analysis of those metal coupons which were corroded, ma'am, so when we applied biosurfactant, the corrosion inhibited in those metal coupons. So I gone for the SEM imaging, ma'am, scanning
Okay,
electron microscope image of those metal coupons. So when I
okay,
was searching how to interpret those SEM images, so I came across this digital imaging processing too, ma'am, like yours.
yeah,
So your
okay,
speech was very impressive, ma'am, today. Thank you for
okay,
this.
okay,
And that so I chosen again a MATLAB to process those images, ma'am. So
okay.
I have selected two algorithms, that is calculating the entropy of those images, and uh, another one is edge detection, ma'am. These two I
Okay.
have chosen, but
Okay.
there are not much literature regarding these, ma'am. There is no review regarding the SEM imaging in the field of corrosion.
Okay.
No, there
That
is no
happens.
review. Is it okay,
Sometimes
ma'am?
what happens is in our field, there will be many work that would have been already done. So it is easy for us to go through whatever and then place our work on top of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes what happens, that will be a new field. Nobody would have done a digital image processing in that particular area.
Yes, yes,
You
ma'am.
may
Yes.
be the first person.
Okay, ma'am.
That is also one kind of positive thing only. That is, but
Okay.
only thing is you may not have literature in that area. But what you can do is you can take image processing papers from other areas.
Yes, ma'am. I have taken from some nanotechnology area like
Yes,
that, ma'am.
other areas, and then use those algorithms for yours and see like what is not working. What is not working, then you will understand. Okay, this is not working for me for my kind of images. So then, what more should I work on that? So that will help you too. So take so many areas and then try to replicate those algorithms in your MATLAB code.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, it is 8 o'clock. And if you have any questions, you are free to. My WhatsApp number is with ma'am, and you can ask me any help. We are ready to help you All that we want is you have to publish papers. And so the research, according to me, is a passion. And it is just not just for my PhD. I don't do research I do in terms of medical imaging, so in the patient side. So I'm so satisfied that I'm able to, we have made an application itself for the patient. Very soon we will be able to install the application in CMC. So the happiness is I'm able to contribute something to the patient community. So with that passion, if you do research, I'm sure your research journey will be very, very interesting and useful. With that few words, I thank all your authorities and the college for inviting me to be a part of this FDP. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am. It gives me a great pleasure to propose the vote of thanks for this session. A heartfelt thank you to Dr. Shiba for her informative and valuable session on linking the literature review and research gaps. Your explanation about how a literature review summarizes existing research and helps in identifying research gaps has given us a clear understanding of how to close the loop between what has already been studied and what still needs to be explored. Ma'am, your guidance has given us a clear understanding of the topic and will surely help in our research endeavors. I also thank all the participants for their involvement during the session, and I encourage everyone to attend the upcoming sessions to gain further insights and benefit from the program. Thank you all for being part of this faculty development program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dear participants, the feedback link will be posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form.